Hi everyone, my name is Anna Curtis, and this video is the final project for my Introduction to Narrative class. The quote that I have chosen to respond to for this video is from Ben Okri, who said, "Stories can conquer fear, you know. They can make the heart bigger." I definitely agree with this quote, and I believe that by way of narrative, authors can bring new perspectives to their readers and help strip away some of the fear or uncertainty we might feel when we're confronted with something unknown. Over the course of this past semester, we have read a number of different narratives, and from them I've selected 3 that in particular I found match this theme. The first narrative that I'm going to cover is The Man to Send Rain Clouds by Leslie Marmon Silko. This text depicts the meeting of different cultures over a burial. The cultures that clash in the story are that of a Christian priest and the traditions of Native Americans. Leon, Ken, and the other Native Americans find the old man Teofilo dead and perform rituals that are part of their traditions before arranging to bury him. The story hints that Leon is friends with a young priest that is also in the town and has even attended mass multiple times. The priest is not aware that Teofilo is dead, and so when Leon asks him to bring holy water with him to the apparent burial, he becomes upset because the sprinkling of holy water is not the only component in a Christian burial. The Native Americans, who are already wary of the priest and his religion, decline any more than just the holy water. In the end, the priest does sprinkle the water over Teofilo as they asked. This narrative highlights both the reluctance and the willingness to accept another's culture and their traditions. This happens in both sides in the story. Although the other Native Americans are reluctant to associate with the priest at all, he and Leon seem to be on friendly terms. Leon has even attended Mass, showing that he's tentatively willing to learn about the unfamiliar Christianity that this priest subscribes to. The priest, on the other hand, comes to the burial skeptically and is upset when the other attendees only want to take part in one ritual that he is used to, which really makes no sense to him at all. He obliges to their request, but he leaves feeling uncertain about the interaction. Each side has their reservations about the other, but through this narrative, the reader can experience an example of pushing past the fear of the unknown. The second narrative that I would like to talk about is Hills Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway. This story is focused on a young girl who has been living and traveling with a man that the reader only knows as the American. Through the sparse dialogue and the descriptions of their actions, we gather that they are going to get the girl an illegal abortion in another country. The man is pretty eager to have this procedure done, whereas the girl, who is actually going to be receiving this procedure, is less sure, and really she would like to settle down somewhere and just stay put. When she begins to assert these wishes, or at least push back against what the man wants, it results in tension between her and the man. While this narrative does follow the girl as she draws ever closer to an unknown procedure, I think that this story is more of an example of an unknown perspective for most readers. There is a chance that the reader of this story could have been in a similar situation, but for the most part, the dilemma that the girl faces, having the abortion and keep traveling with the man, or to keep the baby and potentially be left on her own in a foreign country, is not one that many readers would have direct experience with. Also, for those readers who are pro-life, this story would require them to set aside their bias and look at the story and the girl for what they are and not what they should be. After all, this story is set in a different time and a different place with different values in play. Finally, the longest narrative that we read this semester was Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, which followed the life of Harriet Jacobs as she grew up as a slave, went into hiding, and eventually made her way to freedom. This narrative in particular had a great impact on me because it exposed me to a perspective that thankfully I never have and never will experience. Jacob's descriptions of the punishments she endured, the years she spent hiding in an attic, the struggles that she faced to escape to the north where really she only attained quasi-freedom until she was bought. Her story really made me personally take a step back and realize my privilege, not only as a white woman, but also a white woman living in the 21st century. Reading her story allowed me in to vicariously experience her reality, her hardship, and her fears. And because of this, I feel more connected and sympathetic to someone who, admittedly, I don't have much in common with. And I think that definitely fits what Ben Okri meant when he said that narrative makes the heart bigger. All in all, I think that the common thread through reading these stories is to set aside any prejudice, bias, or fear of what is different than what we are used to, and to look at the situation through the narrator's perspective. By doing this, we can do just what Ben Okri had in mind, to conquer our fears and make our hearts bigger. Thanks.